Hey everyone, it's Paulina Bello here. I am the founder of Victory Club and the creator and author of #Hardcore. And today we're doing a live webinar called Retrain Your Brain. Retrain Your Brain. And this webinar is all about how you can retrain your brain to... I'm getting all sorts of text messages. Sorry, I'm going to turn this on vibrate. It's all about how you can retrain your brain to achieve any goal, not just health or fitness, but if you this webinar is about health and fitness, but you could apply this to business, to life, to anywhere that you're trying to achieve success and achieve your goals. So let's just jump right in. There's a lot of slides that I want to go through because this is a topic. We're talking about our brain and how to change your mindset. So it's not as simple as just, how to work out. But the great thing is that this is recorded, so you can watch this as often as you need to, and repetition truly is the key. And so we will talk about that some more also. So what you can expect to learn today from our webinar is how our brains work, how to make a goal that lasts. So not one that you hit and then you lose it and you have to try and hit it again. That's a lot of what people are experiencing when they're doing the yo-yo dieting. And then also, as we move along, we'll talk about practical applications for weight loss. And I also should have put on there eating clean, because I know different people on this webinar have different goals. Some are really trying to clean up their diet, and others are trying to lose weight. Others are trying to gain weight through muscles. So there's just different goals. I love this quote. Live your life each day as you would climb a mountain. An occasional glance toward the summit keeps the goal in mind, but many beautiful scenes are to be observed from each new vantage point. Climb slowly, steadily, enjoying each passing moment, and the view from the summit will serve as a fitting climax for the journey. So many people are so obsessed with the end result that they forget to see all that they're learning along the way. So not that you shouldn't be focused on your end result and your goal, but also just appreciate all that you're learning, the strides that you're making. Celebrate every turn when you're climbing the mountain and you make the bend in the road and you make the turn, you keep going. Celebrate each of those victories, and don't just focus on you have so many pounds to lose and you don't see it as a success until you get there. Just realize that everything you're doing is a success, and you're learning as you go. So what I want to talk about first is how our brains work. We all know people who lose the weight and gain it back. This is what we call the yo-yo dieters. And especially lately in the news, we've been seeing like the Biggest Loser. They'll lose like 100 pounds and they'll end up gaining half or all of it back. And so that's where I really wanted to create this webinar. I really think this is one of the most important trainings I've ever done. I can teach you how to lose weight. I can teach you the steps to do, but so many people end up bouncing back, and so many people have joined Victory Club because they did have that yo-yo issue. I mean, I hear it all the time. I lost 60 pounds, but I gained it back. Can you help me? And I said, yes, I can. We have Victory Club. And by the way, if you're watching this from YouTube and you don't know what Victory Club is, you can go to my website, getleanwithpauline.com. I'll make sure to put it in the comments. But it's, and then just click on the tab that says Victory Club, and you can join us and be part of our group and get these live trainings weekly. But this is their mistaken thinking. They desperately try to change the end result. So whether it's, let's say they want to lose weight, they're trying so hard to change the end result. And so they do all the steps necessary to change. They're working out, they're eating. So that sounds good, right? That sounds like what you ought to do. But really the results in their lives will be determined by their actions, and where the actions come from are thoughts. So here's the thing, is if you don't first fix your thoughts, the thoughts that create the obesity, you can never fix your actions, and your results will never permanently change. So this is a great quote from James Allen. He wrote As a Man Thinketh in 1903. Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought in shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. So, there's lots of verses in the Bible that talk about how powerful our mind is, but here's just one. But the things that proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and those defile the man. For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, slanders. So this is just all to say that thoughts are powerful. Thoughts can bring about obesity, they can bring about evil thoughts, murder, fornications. They begin in our hearts and then they become our actions. So this is the correct way to change your results. First you must be, then you do, then you have. And so let me explain this in kind of a picture form. So let's talk about how we think and how to harness it. So here you have a little picture of a person, and you'll see this in the next few slides. It's thoughts, heart, action, results. So that's the order. So first let's talk about thoughts. Thoughts, you choose your thoughts. This is the intellectual side of your brain. Sometimes your thoughts are impressed upon you as a child by your parents and teachers. So when you're little, you're like an open slate, and you are told what is true, and usually we believe it. The door in the thoughts segment of the brain. So if you think of the head there, I just divide it in half to make it simple. But obviously the brain is so much more complex in this little drawing. But just for us to kind of understand what we're dealing with so we can harness it. But that little door leads to your thoughts. And so you choose to open the door and choose to let whatever you want in, or even sometimes you're not even wanting, we can be lazy, whether we're watching TV or commercials or listening to people who have opinions, but maybe don't have anything to back them up with. We let these thoughts come in, and we can be careful though and shut the bad thoughts out. And often we hear from others things that are good or bad. So that's how we let them in, is into our thoughts. So our thoughts are the thinking side of our brain. It's the intellectual, it's the choosing, it's the creates ideas, it creates visions. Your goals originate there. This is your thoughts. And then we have what we call the heart. And so this is the emotional side of your mind. This is the part where you just believe something and you can't explain it. You just habits are formed here. Let me back up. The emotional side of your mind, the heart expresses itself through your feelings and actions. So again, this is a fixed part of your personality, your beliefs, which can be very hard to change. These are your habits, things you do without thinking, and then beliefs you accept as true. And there's only two ways to change this heart part of your mind. Oops, I didn't. Okay, here, this is the double slide. Oops, I got it now. It is repetition or impact. So repetition would be hearing the same thing over and over and over. So I don't know if this has happened to you, but it's happened to me, where I will have a deep set belief about something, and then someone tells me a new idea. I let the thought come in, and they tell me the contrary, that what I believe is not true. And so this is what happens. If we go back to our picture, you let that thought in through the door, and then it bounces off that wall there. So that little line that separates the thoughts and the heart picture that being like a fortified wall. And the heart resists change. It doesn't just easily take on new ideas. That is, like I said, our emotion is very fixed. It's very hard to change. It's our emotional beliefs there. And so someone tells me this new idea, and it comes in through my brain and it slams that wall, and I don't accept it. But then I hear it again in a different way, and maybe I see it on TV, or maybe I hear it from a reputable source again and again and again, and eventually that thought is let through the wall, and it becomes part of my set beliefs. And so that's how a new idea is assimilated. That's repetition. Other times, it's instant. And the times that it's instant is not very often, but it's usually with tremendous emotion involved, like an impact. Like you are told by your doctor, you are going to die, you have heart disease, and if you don't change the way you eat, you are killing yourself. And you must change the way you eat immediately. And that has tremendous impact on you. And all of a sudden, the life and your beliefs you had before about food are no longer acceptable to you. And so that has tremendous impact. So it's only one of those two ways, is repetition or impact. I should say there's a third way, that we can always pray that God would change our hearts, and we do pray that. And so that's also another way. But in the ways that we work as humans, repetition and impact. So this is a verse from the Bible. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And then sometimes it's neat to look at different versions, but guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flows the springs of life. So this is Proverbs 4:23. King Solomon wrote this. And I used to think that this verse was about falling in love, which it could be, guarding your heart. But now I in light of this information, I understand it more, that it's speaking of the part of your brain that is fixed, and you need to guard that part of your mind. You have to really protect it from negative beliefs, things that are untrue. And negativity can be very untrue. I called myself a realist, and I was very negative minded, and I believed that I just always assumed the worst was going to happen. And then when it did, I was like, see, I just knew it would happen. And I just called myself a realist. But really, I didn't understand that my mind was working kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I just believed the worst about myself and my life and my situation. And it happened to pass, of course, because I was setting myself up with those beliefs. And so it's not a true truth. You're kind of choosing to believe. You're choosing these things, which choosing your future is really how it is. And so this is another example. So King Solomon, he told us, he warned us to guard our heart. And then here, I'll just read this quickly. If you don't know who King Solomon is, he was King David's son. David and Goliath, maybe you've heard that. And so Solomon was his son. And this is from 1 Kings chapter 3. King Solomon is going to be the next king after King David. And it says, "At Gibeon the Lord appeared to Solomon during the night in a dream, and God said, 'Ask for whatever you want me to give you.'" So just think, if you were in King Solomon's shoes, what would you ask? Like riches? Would it be tons of servants, a huge palace? Solomon answered, "You have shown great kindness to your servant, my father David, because he was faithful to you and righteous and upright in heart. You have continued this great kindness to him, and have given him a son to sit on his throne this very day. Now, Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of my father David. But I am only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people too, numerous to count or number. So give your servant," and I highlight here, "a discerning heart to govern your people and distinguish between right and wrong. For who is able to govern this great people of yours?" And the Lord was pleased at Solomon and asked this. "And since you have not asked for long life or wealth for yourself, nor asked for the death of your enemies, but for discernment and administering justice, I will do what you have asked. I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so there never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be." So he was the wisest person that ever lived. And that just goes to show you that, okay, here we are, that it's so important to have a discerning heart, and God really honored that. And he loved that he asked that. So let's go back to our little picture. So we choose our thoughts, which then creates our fixed beliefs in our hearts, our emotional mind, and that produces our actions. So what we believe and what isn't fixed in our heart and our mind, it will naturally flow out of us through our circumstances, condition, environment, and that will yield our results. So let's go back to be, do, and have. Be, what do you believe about yourself to be true? Do, out of your heart will flow your actions, and consequently, you will have your results. This is why negative talk is so powerful. Do you tell yourself you hate eating healthfully? Do you tell yourself or others that you hate working out? You are only furthering a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're embedding it deeper in your heart. You might be able to out-willpower your heart for a while. So your true beliefs, you say, "Oh, I hate working out, but I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to work out, make myself work out. Hold me accountable, text me, make me get my workout in." But like a plane on autopilot, you'll end up back at the same place in the end. And so this is what happens to the people on The Biggest Loser show, is they have like this tremendous amount of accountability. They are going to possibly win $1 million. They're on national television. Everyone's watching them. They're working with this coach who's seeing them all the time. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of accountability. And so they're able to out-willpower their mindset. But then when the show's over and done, and you get them back alone in their house, and it's just them and themselves and their brain, they, like autopilot, just go right back to what their thoughts have always been. And so it's so important to change this mindset. For this reason, you must today, starting today, speak to yourself in a positive voice. Your heart will believe whatever you tell it. And it may take time. That's why repetition is so important. Your thoughts are chosen by you, and by repetition impressed upon your heart. So now that you kind of have the philosophy of how our brain works, hopefully I've provided some verses from the Bible, which I believe to be wholly and completely true, and also some awesome quotes from people around the world who have experienced this. We can move on now to goals and kind of practically see how this plays out in terms of our fitness and weight loss. So, this is a good quote. If you plan on being anything less than you are capable of being, you will probably be unhappy all the days of your life. And then another one. It's a funny thing about life. If you refuse to accept anything less than the best, you very often get it. So again, our thoughts are so powerful. Decide what you want. Decide what you are prepared to give up to get it. Set your mind on it. Get on with the work. H.L. Hunt. Oh, double slide. Sorry, hold on, move on. Okay, so here's where we get into goals. A goal has to be more than just a wish. You must decide. A real decision is a powerful force, and it activates the heart. The heart gets to work in ways we don't understand. Most don't decide, they're actually just simply stating their preferences. So the word decide, it comes from a Latin word that means to cut off. So when you make a real decision, a true decision, like I'm going to lose 10 pounds, you are cutting yourself off from all other possibilities. There is no possibility of losing only 5 pounds. There is no possibility of losing no pounds. You are going to lose 10 pounds, and that's the decision you're making. My goal is that I'm going to lose 10 pounds. It's a full-blown decision. There is no other option. Oops, slip through. So let's look at the difference between a decision and preferences. So this is the difference. I want to lose 10 pounds. A preference, it kind of sounds like this in our heads, and maybe you've done this before too, where it would be nice, and I want to do that, although, I usually don't lose 10 pounds when I try. I really don't have any desire to work out. I kind of hope this will happen. Yeah, I would really like to lose 10 pounds. That's not a goal. That's just you're stating a wish or a preference. A decision is you are cutting yourself off. I am going to lose 10 pounds. There's no other way. There's no other choice. I'm losing 10 pounds. Another example might be I want to eat healthfully. I hear that one all the time. I really need to clean up my diet. Preference sounds like this. People call this a goal, but it's not. It would be nice to do that, but I really like junk food. This is what you're probably thinking in your head, or the things you don't say that your heart knows to be true. I might think about skipping soda occasionally, but if it's the right moment, I probably will drink it. I have no desire to cut it out completely. I hope it'll happen, though. I hope that I'll eat healthfully. I really do want to eat healthfully, I think. So that, to me, that's kind of what goes through my, and I've done this before myself. That's why I know it to be true. So a preference is wishy-washy. A decision, I am going to stop eating junk. There is no other way. So a decision is where you're cutting yourself off from any other option. Okay. When you make a committed decision, you may not have any idea how to eat healthfully. You may not know how to cook or read labels or even where to shop to get this food. This is the power of a committed decision. Here's the thing, and this is why I said your heart starts to set things in motion, your actions that sometimes you don't even realize that are happening. But when you make a committed decision, your heart sets in motion the events that you need to achieve your goal. And this is just, I don't even know how to, I'm sure there's ways to explain it, but to me, I've only seen this happen so many times in my life, over and over and over again, that I just know it to be true. So you're just going to have to trust me on this one, that a committed decision is super, super powerful in your brain. When you decide with full force in your head, it's almost like a powerful prayer, like you're believing in it. God is listening to you and hearing your unspoken thoughts, unspoken words. And it just starts to set in motion, like the people you need to know. It almost feels like this crazy coincidences. I was just thinking of you and you called on the phone. That kind of thing happens. Or I was just wondering about that, and here's the information I needed. And I was wondering if there was an app for that, and look, here it is. It just seems like all these crazy strings of coincidences start happening for you to achieve your goal. And I don't believe that it's a coincidence. I really think that this is kind of how things were set up to be in this world. So when you make a committed decision, your heart sets in motion the events that you need to achieve your goal. So you don't have to have the knowledge or the understanding of how to achieve the goal to make a committed decision. All you must do is decide. This is true for finances, You can have a goal that you are going to make X amount of dollars. If your finances are in struggles, you need to get out of debt. Maybe your family is growing, you need more money, whatever it is. You make the goal to earn this much money. You don't need to know how you're going to do it. You just make the goal. There's no other way. Whether it's weight loss or anything. No one knew how to climb Mount Everest until it was done. You first make the decision and the knowledge will follow. So that's how it works. So here's the warning though, and we've talked about this a little bit. Your heart is going to resist that change. This is where you get the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that's why impact or repetition is the key. I'm not saying go out and make an impact. That could be bad. Like, don't try and set yourself up for a car accident or something to really shock your brain. No, just repetition. And prayer that God will change your heart works awesome too. Create me a clean heart was something David said. And also I read you Solomon's prayer for a discerning heart. But you really must believe that God can actually do it. That's the key. God, all throughout the Bible, we see instances where God responds to faith. Peter sinks in the water when he starts to doubt. Jesus says if you had faith, you could move a mountain. So God, from what I've seen, God really responds to faith. You can't really pray a prayer and believe that God can't do it and expect that it's going to work. I mean, God can do anything, obviously, but just from what I see in the Bible, God really wants faith, our faith. So believe that God can do it and he can change your heart. And then we're going to also focus on repetition. And so here's what that looks like to me. Oh, wait. Let me see. Okay, well, yeah, let's just go on this slide here. So this is a great quote. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. So these next slides, I just want to sum up how this practically plays out in your life. So when you're making your goal, think of this verse is what I do. And examples that would not follow Philippians 4:8 would be saying things like, I'm so fat, I can't do this workout, I hate this, I hate sweating, I'll always be fat, I have no self-control. I think we have enough negativity there, you get the idea. But that is so self-fulfilling. It's so bad for your brain. Your heart just eats it up because those words are so full of emotion. The word hate is so, so powerful. Anything you apply hate to only gets worse. So it's, don't say those things ever. Just don't. Everything you say, you want it to be positive. Even if you really are still struggling with those beliefs right there, they will change, but you have to speak to yourself in a positive voice. Focus on the positive. You can choose to look, I could choose to look at, you can choose to look at any situation and dwell on the negative or dwell on the positive. This is a brain choice. And I tell you what, the people that you want to be around are the people who also dwell on the positive because they will encourage you and lift you up. They call them negative Nellies. You can love them, pray for them, they can be your family, but really make the people, your inner circle, the people that you're around all the time, people who are supporting you in your goals. So people who hate working out and that's all that comes out of their mouth is, oh, I'd never work out, I hate it. They may not be the people that you really want to surround yourself with if your goal is to lose weight and all you're hearing is negativity and it's just constantly going in your mind and you're being tempted to think the same thing and it's dragging you down. Just guarding your heart. The Bible talks about that, really guarding your thoughts and what you're letting in, what TV shows you're watching and what's their spin on your goals. Are they saying really negative things about losing weight and everyone on the TV show hates losing weight and you're just letting those thoughts in? So just really guarding your heart. I just want to caution you on that because we said the heart resists change. You want to set yourself up for success to change your brain so that moving forward after you lose that weight, your brain is still thinking thoughts of positivity about working out, positivity about weight loss, that you're not going to go back into autopilot of, oh, I hate working out, or, oh, I love overeating, oh my goodness, I get this giant plate of food and I can't wait to eat it all. And that really is one of the biggest problems too with people who lose weight is they train themselves how to burn calories, and so they eat enough to burn. And then once they've lost all the weight, their brain instantly goes back to autopilot, which was I eat everything in sight and food is my comfort. And so these are some things you're really going to have to focus on is you need to eat as much as you need to eat. Once you lose that weight, You don't get to go out and just go crazy and start eating an extra 200 or 300 calories every day, which is going to amount to an extra 10 pounds of weight every year. You really have to focus on, I don't know, I like to say, you want to be skinny, eat like a skinny person. So I'll be at, I don't know, restaurants or things, and I just kind of observe around, or I'll be shopping and I'll see very obese people. And if you look in their shopping cart, or you look at what the person at the restaurant is eating that's very obese, you don't want to eat like that. You don't want to shop like that. You want to, unless they're on the way and they're eating really healthy food and they're really changing their life. But you want to reach your goals, you have to stay in that mindset. So it's really important to guard your heart, to think positively, to change your brain. First, you want to be this. Then you want to get going on the results, or getting towards your results, the do, the be, the do, and lastly, the have. That results will come effortlessly. Okay. So how to make a goal. The goal is so powerful. So many people will state their preferences, state their wishes, but they never actually make a real goal. And then also writing it down is going to be huge. No one writes their goals down. People, like the statistics that people who write their goals down, the actuality of their goals coming true is boosted like, I don't know, 150%. People who write their goals down, it's so much more powerful. And we'll talk about that in a second. But how I make my goals, I use present tense, which is fueled by thoughts of positive emotion. So remember, again, this is a repetition. I'm trying to teach you this point. We're trying to change the heart, and it responds to emotion. So having the positivity behind it and feeling really great. I always start my goals off with, I'm so happy and grateful, because that is just a wonderful place to be. It's so wonderful to be happy and grateful. It's like almost like saying you're humbled, like you're grateful. It's I'm so blessed. You can even say that. I'm so happy, blessed, and grateful now that I work out every day. I'm so happy and grateful now that I get up early each day. I'm so happy and grateful now that I fit into size X jeans. And so when you're making your goals, you're always thinking about Philippians 4:8. What is admirable? It's totally admirable to wake up early. What is lovely? It'd be lovely to fit into the size X jeans. And so dwelling on things that fall into this category. This is why I never make goals in the negative. For example, I'm so happy now that I no longer overeat. That is like the negative reverse of I'm so happy now that I eat healthfully. So why even like bring that up, to your brain? We're trying to teach your brain to eat healthfully. Why even bring up overeating? Just don't even talk about that. Like, let's talk about the positive. Reverse flip it. You can say the same goal, but say it in a different way that's positive. I'm so happy now that I no longer hate working out. Why don't we just say I'm so happy and grateful now that I love working out? So keep it positive. The heart hears the word hate. And remember, we said anything you apply hate to only gets worse. The heart is not the intellectual mind where it's differentiating and it's thinking through things. It's just receiving information. So let's just keep it positive and let it only hear positivity. And remember, it's a process. Repetition and faith-filled prayer is the key. And again, writing your goals down, we talked about that. Most don't and never, what is this, double negative? Most don't and never achieve them. Most won't ever achieve them if they don't write them down. I'm still, man, is my grammar right? I don't know what I'm saying there. Anyway, it activates the mind and creates a picture. So this is where you want to get all your senses involved. When you were in college or school or whatever and you took notes, that's creating an image in your brain. And the same thing with writing your goals down. It's just like solidifying it on paper. So after this webinar, I would challenge you to make some goals, write them down. Fold it up on a little piece of paper, stick it in your wallet, stick it in your purse. When you see that, it will remind your brain. Maybe you want to write it on your refrigerator. I'm so happy and grateful that, or in a book that you open. Other people that I've said, they say they treat it like planting a seed. They write it, they emotionally remember it, they attach positive thoughts to it, and emotion, like they get excited about it. Like think about it, like how are you going to feel when you get a pair of size 8 jeans? Like, or that's your goal. Like how awesome is it going to be to fit in these jeans again? And just really dwell on the positive and the happiness behind it. And that's going to help settle it deep in your brain. And then maybe just go ahead and stick it in a drawer and don't look at it. And I've done that before too. And then you open it up and you're like, wow, totally hit that goal. And I completely forgot I made that goal. So it works either way. But just really attaching positive emotion and happiness to your goals is going to be super effective. And this is where we need to talk about pain versus pleasure. So this is something else that you want to be aware of. Your heart may have pain and pleasure confused. So let's and this is from experiences and just attributing pain to something that isn't actually the cause of the pain. So a toddler falls off a sofa, and let's say they're starting to walk, and they're walking on the sofa. They fall off the sofa, and they think it's the sofa that's causing them pain. And so they avoid the sofa. They don't want to touch it. But really, it was just actually, you can sit on a sofa and not have pain, right? Like, we don't fall off anymore. It was just the fact that they fell off the edge. So it's not the sofa that caused pain. It was the not understanding when to stop and gravity that caused the pain. We do this as adults all the time. You can think that working out is pain, when truly it's actually pleasure. When you work out, it releases endorphins. It makes you feel better. It's how your body was made by God to thrive. Your body needs movement. It needs motion. It needs to work out. It needs to sweat. It needs to build muscle. This is the only way your body can be healthy. So truly it is pleasure, but we have, from society, imposing their beliefs on us, and also from maybe bad experiences of working out where you push yourself really hard, or you hurt yourself, or it just wasn't a fun workout. You've associated all exercise with pain, and that's not true. So going back to our Philippians verse, this is where I would, really test that theory. Test the theory in your head. Is working out pain? And that's where I would say, no, it's not true. So that's where I'd say you need to change that belief, that whatever is true, because saying that working out is always pain is not a truth, and we need to change that belief. And so you really need to retrain your brain to correctly see pleasure from that goal. If it's truly your goal to work out every day, you've got to train your brain to see pleasure from that. And so these are just some ideas. Creating positive feelings around your new life. We respond to happiness, things that give us happiness and joy. So I like this example. Tony Robbins once said that when he was poor growing up, there wasn't enough food in the house. And so he would, it was always like, every man for himself, grab all the food you can off the table, and, sharing with the siblings and whatever, and eat as much as you can. Don't you dare, leave your plate with food on it, because there's starving children, in the world, and in this house even. You might not know what you're getting at your next meal, so you better eat everything on your plate. So then when his financial wealth increased and he had plenty of food, he still had that mindset of eating everything on his plate. And if you're at a restaurant even, that's a huge one, is not eating everything on your stinking plate, because that is so much food. Some people just train themselves to, this is where they've made it a habit in their heart of their mind, to just instantly box up half of it and send, please only serve me half, box the other half up, I'll take it home. I heard Jillian Michaels once say that she puts salt all over the parts that she's not going to eat. I just think that's silly. But I like Tony Robbins because it really, that's just because hers is just willpower. But Tony Robbins was actually associating positivity and good emotion with it. So when he would push his plate away, when he had not eaten all of it, he would play music that he really loved. And then he would just dwell on those awesome feelings, like, I have plenty of food here, I could eat it all, but I'm choosing not to, because this is more important to me to have a healthy body and a good physique, and I'm just going to enjoy some music right now. And for me, when I first started working out, if you follow some of my social media posts, I will readily confess there was a time when I would definitely say, I hate working out, I don't like working out. When I first wanted to lose weight before I discovered TurboFire, I said that I would rather starve myself than work out. If I'm going to lose weight, it's going to be because I am just hardly eating anything, because I just hate working out. And so clearly that was something that had to totally re-change in my mind. And I don't really know where that came from, because, well, maybe it came from growing up playing sports, and often we were forced to do sprints and all sorts of really not fun things. Again, my mind associated with not being fun. I just was focusing on how I felt in the moment and not what it was doing for me. But I just had created a wrong pain versus pleasure in my head. And so for me as an adult, after gaining all that weight, I had to find a way to make myself happier. So what I did was, and I got this from Darren Hardy's idea, it was about the creating wealth. The first step to creating wealth is the discipline to save. and so saving 10% of your income. And that was really hard for me when I first started. And his idea was genius, was just start saving 1%. And I thought, that is so great, because you save 1% and you're like, okay, that's no big deal. And the next month you save 2%. And the next month you save 3%. And so I applied it to fitness. And when I would work out for just 1 minute, I would tell myself afterwards that it was no big deal, because it really was no big deal. It was just a 1 minute workout. I mean, you barely get through the warm up in 1 minute. And then the next day you do 2 minutes. And the next day you do 3 minutes, and it's still no big deal. And so every day, every time you'd say, okay, that wasn't a big deal at all. I can definitely look forward to working out for 10 minutes at least. And then you get to 10 minutes and it'll be fine. And you just keep going. And by 30 days, in 1 month, only 1 month, you've consistently built a habit of working out, and you're at 30-minute workouts. And you've told yourself the whole time that it was great, it was no big deal. You focus on the positive feelings, let those endorphins make you feel great. Don't let any negativity come in, getting yourself around other people who are enjoying their workouts. My husband works out with me, and we laugh and we flirt and we just have fun while we're working out. And we do workouts that we enjoy. And so we're creating those deep set beliefs that working out is pleasure, it's not pain. And I don't want to miss a workout. That's where my mind goes, is I don't want to miss a workout, and I need to work out at 9:30 in the morning, because that's when I have success. And if I let the day go and I'm going to miss a workout, I don't want to miss a workout. So I am working at 9:30 every day, because that is the sweet spot for me. And you kind of get in that mode. So create positive feelings around your new life and your new goals. Remember, your heart responds to repetition, 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 and emotion. So keep it positive, stay away from the negative, make it happy, be creative. Find ways to make this work for you. So I hope that's been helpful, and thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. I do these broadcasts and trainings weekly, and I would love to hear your comments or thoughts below in the comments section. So I will see you next week with some great training. And remember, if you want to join our Victory Club, just go to getleanwithpauline.com and click on the tab that says Victory Club. And we would love to have you join us. All right, I will talk to you guys later.